Hey guys, how you doing? The music's a little bit loud. It's better. Hey guys, how you doing? Alex coming at you here on a sunny, hot Friday afternoon in Southern California. Hope everyone is doing well. Just thought I'd come on and just do a quick video on a band that I've really been getting into the last few weeks. And this is what's playing in the background here. The band being Between. From Germany. There's a couple of German musicians here, most notably Peter Michael Hummel, the keyboardist, organist, and Ulrich Strams, who is a strings player, I believe, viola. Interesting band because there's a couple of Americans. Bob Eliscu plays the oboe. Cottrell Black, who plays percussion. An Irish flutist, Jimmy Galway, and an Argentinian guitar player by the name of Roberto Detre, who I believe has some pretty good solo records on his own. So this is their debut from 1971 on the German Virgo label. This is a reissue, I think, from... No, I'm sorry, this is the original. This was reissued in Japan, I think, in '72. There's the band there. This is side 2 that's playing now, and as you can tell, it's very much an avant-garde classical influence on this side. With you can hear the flute. Side 1, there's a lot more percussion. But yeah, I think a very unique band, especially compared to, everything else that was going on in the early 70s, with krautrock, with some of the, progressive German bands of that time. They really weren't using, at least on this album, a lot of, really not too many electronics. There a lot of people say their sound has some medieval type influences, which I think that's warranted now with some of the flute and string instruments. But as you can tell, there's some really dark, brooding, influences as well. As I mentioned before, I think are more aligned with modern classical music, I would say. So yeah, this is a fantastic record. Definitely check it out. I'm going to show a couple more from this band. So this is their 1973 release, and The Waters Opened. This is a reissue from, let's see, yeah, this is the 1981 reissue on the Virgo label. The original was actually on the Vertigo Swirl label, and goes for quite a bit of money, as you can imagine. Again, very, very hard to pin down genre-wise. A lot of the same influences as their debut album. Still have Roberto Detre on guitar. You still have Robert Eliscu on oboe, Peter Michael Hummel keyboards, and the same percussionist as well. So yeah, again, this is also fantastic. Their second album. The last one I'll show is actually from 1980. This is Silence Beyond Time, Stille über der Zeit. Also on the, this is an original on the Virgo label. So as you can tell, from the, Virgo was clearly, I think, trying to market these guys more as a new age kind of band, so the artwork definitely reflects that. The musicians here, you still have, Peter Michael Hamo, Orlesco, Detre. So the core musicians are there, and then they added Roger Janota on flute, and they have about 4 or 5 other musicians on this one here. So between this one and and this one here, there's about 3, I think 3 other albums, which I definitely look forward to finding. Most of the ones in the mid 70s and after, except for the first couple, are pretty inexpensive. I would imagine in Europe they're fairly common and probably well under €10. The recording quality on all these records is absolutely A+. Both the mastering, the recording, and the pressings are all absolutely fantastic. Most of these that I found, I found these from a seller here in the U.S., and all of them were in really good shape. So, and because some of these parts do have a fair amount of silence, it is nice to have a pretty quiet pressing. So definitely check out this band Between. It's a very interesting band. Of course, often gets grouped with the other krautrock bands of the early and mid 70s, but I think these guys in particular were doing their own thing. They do have some of those proto new age things going on, but very much, I think, differentiating themselves from like Popol Vuh, who would be kind of treading those same waters in the mid and late 70s. Really unique, and also unique because they don't really have a traditional drummer. I mean, they have some percussive elements, they have some tribal, primitive influences, as a lot of krautrock bands did, but no Jackie Lee, Weberzeit, no drum kit to anchor the music. So it really is unique in that way, I think, from these 70s German bands. I'll just show a couple of Peter Michael Hamo. He would go on to record some really outstanding ambient type records on the Kukuk German label. These are from the early 80s. This one is Bardo. Fantastic, minimalist stuff. This one is Colors of Time. I think there's like a third one. It's sort of like a trilogy. So yeah, definitely those are highly recommended as well. And also fairly inexpensive. I think most things on the Kukuk label are still pretty cheap to get. And the last random thing I'll show here is the only thing that I didn't do anything on record store day, but I did order this online, in particular because this had never been released. This was supposed to be released on on impulse when they were under contract with the label. This is from 1973. I think the original album is supposed to be called Symbols. So this includes Symbols, the original album, and then some of the sessions from around that time. I would say Symbols is outstanding. I would say the second record, which is I think the some of the extra sessions are definitely not essential. Interesting and definitely not bad, but definitely not on par with a lot of the early 70's Sun Ra output. Pressing is pretty nice. The package is decent, and I really like the artwork. Sort of the tribal artwork. So yeah, definitely check this out. Like a lot of this record store day stuff, it's pretty expensive. I mean, they really could have issued just the Symbols portion made for $20 instead of the double for 30 or $40. But it is a pretty quality pressing. So yeah, sample it. Check it out. So that's pretty much all I had. So I hope everybody's doing well, and have a good weekend.